invite you to be seated. While the weather might not feel like it, this Friday we officially say hello to the lazy days of summer, a time to kick back and relax, to lounge around in the sunshine and just rest. And yet, when I look at our family summer calendar, it seems just about as full as the rest of the year. And I have a feeling that your summer days look pretty much the same. Gone is the time when summer had a different rhythm, a restful, relaxing, tranquil rhythm. Now summer schedules seem a lot like the rest of the year, which is to say, overscheduled. Overscheduled isn't good for us, though. Overscheduled isn't healthy. There's a lot of research that says our bodies not only need time for sleep, our bodies also need time for rest, for play, for meditation, for socializing. Our bodies need Sabbath. Sabbath is a very biblical word, not used very much, if at all, in our modern world. It literally means rest in Hebrew and refers to the rest God took after creating the world. Throughout the Bible, it is used most often in reference to the day God's people are supposed to take to honor God and rest. And it isn't even a suggestion. It's a commandment. It's one of the 10 commandments. Number 4 on the list, ranking above honoring your parents and even above you shall not murder or steal. Keeping the Sabbath holy, taking a day to rest and honor God, is a very serious thing to be taken very seriously. And yet, we do not rest like we should, even in the lazy dog days of summer. And that's because there's nothing in our current culture that allows us, let alone encourages us, to rest. It wasn't always this way, though. Many of us grew up in a time called Christendom, a time when Christian beliefs and ways dominated cultural, political, and civic life. Remember the blue laws? Yeah? They were also called Sunday laws, and they restricted a lot of activities on Sundays, enabling people to attend worship and to rest. Those days when our culture essentially forced us to practice the spiritual discipline of Sabbath rest, those days are no longer. Now it's our responsibility to own this spiritual practice, to set aside time for rest, to step away from work, to even at times step away from other people, just like God commanded, just like Jesus practiced. This will not be easy, though, because it is not the way of our culture. Busy, accomplished, constantly on the go, that is the way of our culture. We are children of the living God, though, called to follow the way of Jesus Christ, and we already know that his way is often at odds with the ways of the world. We also know, though, that Christ's way of joy, of love, of peace, of hope, of intentional rest, Christ's way is better. Better for us, better for our communities, better for the world. Imagine how much happier people would be, how much less anger and frustration and anxiety there would be in the world if people took more time for rest. Time is not going to magically pop up on our calendars, though. Almost 200 years ago, Charles Buxton, a philanthropist and member of Parliament, said, "You will never find time for anything. If you want time, you must make it." And in the foreword to Lead Yourself First, Jim Collins agrees wholeheartedly. He writes, "We all have no more than 24 hours in a day, and they will be chewed up unless you deliberately structure time for solitude, inserting some white space in your calendar." White space does not mean vacation. It simply means nothing scheduled. Think of it like putting down rocks in a river. If you wait for the river to stop flowing before you walk out and put a rock down, you'll never get one out there. Instead, better to drop a rock in the flow and make the river go around it. This is the idea of white space, time scheduled with yourself, honored as you would any other vital appointment. Time scheduled with yourself, honored as you would any other vital appointment. Time scheduled with yourself to read, to garden, to watch TV, to lay in the pool or lake, to lay in the grass and stare up at the sky and trees. Sabbath time scheduled with yourself and God, honored as you would any other vital appointment. It's not lazy, it's not selfish, it is physically and emotionally healthy. It is faithful. Sabbath rest is as important of a spiritual discipline as generosity, prayer, and service. Remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. You shall not do any work. You shall not do any work. You should not worry about being productive, accomplished, busy. You shall rest, renew yourself, and rejoice with God. Like any spiritual practice, I encourage you to have patience and compassion with yourself and to start small. Look at your calendar and block out a small period of time to be unproductive, to be restful, to slow down with God, whatever that looks like for you. Start small, yet intentional. Just this little bit of Sabbath rest. You will get pushback from others, from yourself. Keep going. Be committed and disciplined in setting aside time for Sabbath rest. You are going to struggle, maybe even feel like you are failing. Keep trying. You can do it. I can do it. And when you do, when you begin to set aside intentional time for yourself and God, be it Sunday morning worship, Saturday afternoon in your garden, Tuesday evening on a walk, Thursday night on your couch. When you do practice Sabbath rest, you will not only benefit, you will also role model Sabbath rest for others and give them permission to pause, to stop, to be with God, to be loved by God. For we are all precious in God's sight, just as we are. Amen.